One of the advantages of arriving early for a television interview is the interesting people you meet in the green room. I met our former defense minister and chatted about the election.
Hi, Alan. Yes, of course. Good to see you again.
From Shubenacadie.
Yes, I know. I'm from Pictou County.
I know.
Been through Shuby lots of times.
I know. Brian Hay says he tried to get you to come to the Mackenzie briefing after the election.
Hi,
That's
Alan.
a shame. Hey, how are
Hi.
you?
Good. I'm holding a chicken wing.
Sorry. That's good. I think you need to give us verbal permission to do the show. So
I feel like the camera's always rolling. That's an admission.
Hey, let's get a clip from you on exactly the election. Where do you think we're at? Because Mackenzie is tweeting promotional tweets for this event. It's a shame you can't be there.
Yeah.
But we haven't had the debate yet, but it is a pretty raucous election.
It is a raucous election, and there's obviously been some twists and turns in addition to the blackface revelations. I think we're seeing now at the midpoint some substantive policy rollouts. The debates this week, while not definitive or defining for the leaders, will give Canadians the first opportunity to see all of them on the stage together, including Bernier, which will be interesting. I think Prime Minister Trudeau can expect a pretty rough ride. They're going to come after him hard on some of the hypocrisy on his policy, not to mention climate, where he essentially was marching against himself in this most recent display in Montreal, because amongst the G7 we rank right near the bottom of the ladder. Andrew Scheer's plan, I think, is far more pragmatic in terms of putting the emphasis on technology as opposed to punitive taxes on working Canadians, people who have to jump in their half-ton trucks and go to work. And I think some of the policies, too, around affordability, which all of the parties are now dialing in on. Affordability meaning, what are the day-to-day costs that Canadians are struggling with, and do they have money at the end of the month? And for many now, sadly, the answer is no.
Well, now let's be fair and criticize Andrew Scheer.
Sure.
You did a lot of politicking. You probably helped move couches in for students, or you helped repair a piece of farm machinery out in the field. You know, you do a lot of crazy things when you're campaigning, and happy to do so.
That's right.
Should Mr. Scheer have walked in the climate parade? I mean, would it have killed him to do that?
No, but we had a lot of candidates in Montreal who did, and I understand what you're saying. He's been criticized for not walking in parades before. He was, in fairness, in Alberta, announcing what I think is, in my estimation, the big idea of this campaign, and that is having an energy communication corridor across the country. Now, that's not a new idea, in fairness, and Alan, you'll know this. John Diefenbaker talked about that back in the 60s, but it's a pragmatic idea that would move energy and technology coast to coast, having a unifying effect. And being an East Coast boy, I would love to see the Irving refinery operating at peak capacity, giving us the ability to refine raw bitumen and send liquefied natural gas all around the world, which would have a geopolitical impact, as you know. If we're competing with Russia and Saudi Arabia and Iran, that's probably going to do more to put them on their heels than anything we can do through NATO or sanctions. But to come back to your question, yes, I think Andrew is trying to be all things to all people, which all candidates tend to do in the course of an election campaign. What I think is to his benefit, frankly, in all of this is the assessment of credibility and honesty and integrity, and who is more likely to follow through on their campaign promises.
Well, I'm not sure how well you remember the '72 election, but speaking of the Maritimes,
I remember it well.
I was in Fredericton, a boy journalist with radio.
Guys, sorry, Peter.
In TV, the producer's word is law, so my interview was ended abruptly. But the Mackenzie Institute will debrief the Canadian election on October 29th, where you can hear more.